it's been a bit of an up and down week.
Yep.
After not E3 happened. When was it? Last week or the week prior? I can't even remember anymore.
One of those things. What would you like to lead with?
I think there's only really one thing to lead with in light of events that happened yesterday, and that's if you're unaware, you should be aware by now. Roe v Wade or Roe v Wade was overturned by the United States Supreme Court, which affects early Americans. Yes, we're not an American podcast, but this is a big blow for civil rights for millions and millions of people. Essentially, what it does is not allow. Well, it basically removes the choice to have an abortion as a human right from millions of women around the United States, and means that states now, on a state-by-state basis, can choose to ban abortions outright, which is already happening. So, this had been rumored for months prior that this was going to happen because of some leak from the Supreme Court, but it happened. And now a lot of, at least in the sphere of gaming, a lot of game studios and publishers have come out to voice their support, for the right to choose, which I commend. I would say personally, I'm well behind people's right to choose. I don't think the government should be legally allowed to tell you what you can and cannot do to your body. But yeah, so firstly, it was a lot of Sony studios, which is kind of interesting because CEO, Sony Interactive Entertainment CEO Jim Ryan urged employees about a month ago when this started picking up steam to respect differences of opinion. And there were lots of reports internally at Sony saying that Sony was barring any studios from actually saying anything. And the only one at the time that actually said something was Bungie, although they are not technically officially under Sony's purview yet. So
I don't think it's listed in this article. It might have been another one I read, but I think at the time or in the weeks leading after that email was sent, I think Insomniac sent a it's like a 60-page document or something being like WTF or something like that.
Yeah, I think Insomniac said that they had donated to rights groups to fight this. But that they weren't allowed to disclose that.
Yeah.
But that also Sony was matching the donations, but Sony wasn't outright saying that either.
Which is, I find so interesting.
Yeah. So yeah, just from Sony's side, we had Bend, Bungie, Guerrilla, Insomniac, Media Molecule, Naughty Dog, San Diego Studios, Santa Monica Studios, and Sucker Punch all voicing their support for the right to choose. Some studios have, gone further by saying that they will be changing their healthcare for their employees to supplement them with, financial support, that if they need to go out of the states that they're currently in to get the medical attention that they need, that the studio will cover that, which is really cool because I think that's a far easier way of supporting people than uprooting thousands of people's lives in a state that, currently bans it, or at least for the short term, help the people when they need it, rather than okay, in 5 years we're going to move everyone to a different state where this is not illegal. So yeah, not all studios that I listed there have said that, but I know Bungie for certain is one that said that a month ago already. They were kind of setting the tone for that, and a lot of companies have said that, like Netflix have said that, Disney. A lot of companies are getting behind this idea that they will fund travel for employees that need it. Further on here, Activision, Microsoft, Ubisoft have also come out in support of the right to choose. Microsoft says they will do anything they can under the law to support employees in accessing critical healthcare. This support has been extended to include travel expense assistance for those and other lawful medical services where access to care is limited in availability in an employee's home geographic region. Activision basically said the same thing. EA... EA said the same thing, actually, promising travel benefits. Ubisoft, listen, when you get Ubisoft political, you've done something.
And
you've opened a can of worms.
Yeah.
I don't think Ubisoft is really... I mean, Ubisoft is a French company as well. They have studios in America. Well, most of their studios are in Canada. I mean, I think they only have like 1 or 2 in the States. So this affects them a bit less. But to at least, show support, still good. And then there were a bunch of other publishers. You had ArenaNet, Devolver Digital, Haven Studios, Heart Machine Games, Niantic, Team Meat, That's No Moon, stuff like that. So
That's No Moon.
Yeah,
it's been quite something seeing so many people come out. Well, game studios specifically.
I think it's good, but I think there is hesitancy as well from people being like, okay, well, brands need to put money and actions behind the words that they put out there. So it is good that a lot of studios are at least saying that they will support their employees, to get the help that they need if they need it.
Yeah.
And I think that's really important. So yeah, I guess we'll see how this continues. Unsurprisingly, publishers that refuse to comment, Take-Two, and good old Gearbox Interactive, located in the great state of Texas, is going to ban abortions. Good old Randy Pitchford had fuck all to say about this yesterday. So, yeah. Take that as you will.
Take that as you will. Yeah. Interesting things going on in the States. It's wild.
it's abominable things happening in the States. In the space of 24 hours, they basically just like gave more rights to gun owners by letting them, conceal weapons in public, and then took rights away from women. So yeah, it's great.
It's a great time.
Great country.
Nice. Well, do you want to move on to other potentially lighter news?
Potentially lighter news. A Plague Tale, Requiem, got a October release date. They hosted, I think it was Focus Interactive hosted an event this week, like a late E3 thing. Focus Entertainment, sorry. And there was like 10 minutes of gameplay. It shows the return of the 2 siblings at the heart of the first game, Amicia and Hugo. It's coming out on October 18th.
October 18th.
October 18th, yeah. And it's also only new consoles. So PC, PS5, and Xbox Series X and S.
Interesting.
Which is cool because, that game looks pretty good.
Yeah. Well, I'm wondering, like, at what point, we're going to start seeing just this happen where games come out only for current gen. We've beaten this, topic to death, but the fact that COVID just delayed console production, it's been interesting to watch. But I do wonder at what point do we just, make the jump to current gen and leave the others behind. No,
I do wonder if it's now, especially for, smaller publishers and smaller studios, it's becoming a cost thing. It's like, it will cost us X amount to dev or to optimize for the older consoles
exactly.
as well.
It's a balancing act, because then it's a thing of, it'll cost us X amount to, do this for the older consoles, but there's a bigger install base.
Exactly. Or do we invest money in the, maybe pushing our whatever tech we have, whatever tech stack we have to work with the newer consoles and make use of them? Yeah. Do we go all in on that? So I do think it is a cost benefit balancing act. So yeah, I'm very keen for this game. I've said multiple times that A Plague Tale was a really good game.
Yeah, you played it just this year, I think.
Yeah, very recently. It was like earlier this year in January. So I played Innocence, which was like the Xbox Series X like upgrade for that game. It looked good. The stealth sequences are really fun. Yeah, it's a very good looking game, and it's got a really moving story. I think Amicia and Hugo are just a really good pairing. There's a lot of parallels to like The Last of Us. It gets a bit silly at the end, I think, but it ends off in a good way, and I'm very keen to see where they go from here. So yeah, very, very keen for this game.
Nice. Cool. So that's coming.
October 18th. What do you want to go with next?
Let's just do this one quickly because it made me laugh. A piece of Lego can now play Doom.
That's great.
If you don't know, it's almost like, it's not a meme, but it's an internet thing where the joke is, anything and everything can run Doom, which has resulted in Doom being played on like literally everything from, so this this article says, cars, on fridges, and even a tiny LCD screen shoved inside a pregnancy test.
I think there was a pregnancy test that had like an LCD screen could play Doom. Yeah.
So Doom's playable on everything, including this little
Lego brick. It's a tiny, tiny little Lego brick with like an LCD panel on it. So I'm really curious to see how they got
playing
that
Doom
working.
is a bit of a stretch because it's not like a full color Doom, but it's like it's almost.
But it's got the
Doom.
source code running. It's got It's got the source code for Doom running. So
which is
that's
just
amazing.
It just makes me laugh that somebody thought I can do this.
Where will the limit be for Doom? Where will it be?
What's interesting is that I remember writing articles about this for Lazy Gamer back in the day. Like, somebody's put Doom on a fridge. Somebody's put Doom on, and that was years ago. And people are just still making Doom.
Maybe it's happened, but I mean, with the way that we can control LEDs on like RGB fans.
Oh my gosh, one of those.
Yeah,
fans.
exactly. What if we get like an array of 9 RGB fans and you connect it and like sync it up as a display and get Doom running on RGB fans?
If somebody hasn't done it already, I'm sure somebody will.
I bet that will happen one day. If it hasn't happened already, I haven't maybe looked into it enough. But I'm sure if you can get it running on this little piece of Lego, that's not impossible to get it running on those fans.
This article says the LCD screen offers a 72 by 40 resolution.
Damn.
Just enough to make out what's going on, sort of.
It's like 0.4K.
It really is. Sure, that's insane. I just love that somebody went and did this. How cool. They plug they like slots in the piece of Lego and it goes on like a screen.
That's so sick.
It's amazing.
I love that.
Good Lord.
So cool.
What else?
Let's see. Quick update on Into the Breach in case you haven't.
Bam.
So Into the Breach, I haven't played Into the Breach in a while now, but I mean, it was one of those games that was it's just incredible. So it's developed by Subset Games, the people who created FTL, also another great game. And the way I like describing it is like it's chess with kaijus,
5D
with
chess,
big mechs and monsters. Yeah, I mean it is like I think it's an 8x8 board, and it's turn-based action, and it's a roguelike. And it's very tactical, like extremely tactical. You have to take into account like the turn orders of each monster. You have to take into account like, okay, if my turn goes here and I hit a monster there onto that tile, then that monster's turn is going to interact with this other monster. Like it's extremely tactical and so rewarding. You can like literally look at a turn for like half an hour, like picking apart all the different like permutations of a move chess. You can. It's so good. It's really, really good. So the big news here is that there's an advanced edition coming out, an update for all platforms that will release on 19th of July, and that's going to add like new levels, it says here new squads, weapons, and plots. And pilots, sorry. Enemies, environments, bases, missions. So just a bunch of new content. It's all going to be free. There's also a new difficulty mode, so that's great.
Nice.
It's also coming to mobile for the first time under Netflix's program. So if you have a Netflix subscription, you'll be able to download it.
Nice.
And I think this game on mobile it's going to ruin me again. The fact that if I can play like a match everywhere I am is just ridiculous. So
how long does that? I mean, I know you can spend hours looking at a turn, but
yeah, I mean, it depends on the game. It is, each run, it's a roguelike. So, and the runs have like knock-on effects onto each other. So, well, each level does. So, like, you have an overall like energy stat thing. That if they damage like human buildings in a level, it brings down that stat. And that stat is persistent from level to level. Okay. So you can't just like fuck up one level super badly and then reset the next level. It's like that is the life of your run, so to speak.
Okay.
Yeah. It's really good.
Cool. So that's coming. Should we talk about Bungie suing a perpetrator behind fake Destiny 2 DMCA takedowns for $7.7 million hairs.
It's a lot of money.
It's a lot of nuts.
It's a lot of money. Yeah. So the TLDR on this is that earlier this year, a number of top Destiny 2 YouTubers and even Bungie itself were struck with fake DMCA takedowns from an unknown user. So DMCA takedown is like a violation of copyright takedown that you can get YouTube to enact. This is a whole other broader argument on how easy it is for people to do this. And if YouTube enacts some strikes, like it can take a video down and in some cases completely wipe a channel from existence if done correctly. So the fact that this is all automated is real fucked up. But that's a whole other thing.
Yeah.
But essentially, this was done by someone that was not Bungie. And it affected both Bungie and some top Destiny 2 YouTubers. And so Bungie at the time threatened legal action against the perpetrator, and now they're following through. So it says here from the lawsuit, Bungie is entitled to damages and injunction relief, including enhanced statutory charges of $150,000 for each of the works implicated in the fraudulent takedown notice that willfully infringed Bungie's registered copyrights, totaling $7.65 million.
If you're just a random person, how do you fit this bill?
I know, you fucked. Like, I mean, it's no different to. I guess there are some arguments to be made for the way Nintendo went after a recent person who was putting, old games up on websites, ROMs and stuff like that, and they won a court case against him for millions, and it completely ruined his life. And there's something to be said there about the preservation of games and the availability that Nintendo has allowed customers to keep their games going, and how maybe skewed that lawsuit is. But this is straight up like no one wins from this situation, from these DMC takedowns. So I think Bungie's well within their rights doing this. So, yeah.
A new FromSoftware game is in its final stages of development. Elden Ring updates coming.
Elden Ring 2, let's go.
My goodness. Elden Ring DLC. I listened to the Kind of Funny prediction podcast like after, not E3. And I think Andy predicted that we would get a tease for Elden Ring DLC. And I was like, oh my God, like it's way too soon. It's like 3 months after the game launched. Like
way too soon.
Yeah, I think
if I'm not mistaken, I think the teasers for DLC and previous games came like a year after release.
It feels way too quick.
No, that's way too soon.
So what are they working on here? What are these dudes posting next? I
don't know. So essentially, this came from like an interview with Miyazaki, and also just some job postings on the websites. Apparently, they're working on like 2 different projects right now. But based on this interview, which was translated, so things can get wonky there. The studio's latest project is kind of like nearing completion. So my guess, because they've done it before, is that it's something to do with PSVR 2, because they did a PSVR game, and with PSVR 2 being probably months away at this point from launching, maybe early next year, I wouldn't be shocked if it's something for that. Who the fuck knows? Maybe this is their current gen version of Bloodborne.
Yeah. I love
Could
it.
Be that.
It says in the interview, Miyazaki also indicates that he's in the process of directing his next game and that he wants to tackle a more abstract approach to fantasy. Like,
how much more abstract can you get, my dude? My goodness.
We have actual spider hands in Elden Ring.
Like, literally, like
actual.
I mean, that's cool. If he thinks he can get more abstract, that's rad. Like, all the power to him. I'm down for that. There was also that leak much, much earlier this year that FromSoftware were working on a new Armored Core entry. So I wonder if this is that.
Maybe.
Yeah, interesting.
There was a time before Demon Souls and Dark Souls and Bloodborne and Elden Ring.
I was never into Armored Core, so I'm kind of curious.
Yeah, I want to see
to know what a modern Armored Core is. Yeah. I remember trying those games on PS1 and never fully understanding what the fuck was going on. But yeah, so
it's crazy. And then last piece of news, you're not ready for this. Chris Pratt warns his Mario voice is unlike anything you've heard.
Props to Polygon for this title though, like warns that his Mario voice is unlike anything you've ever heard. So this comes from a quote with Variety where Chris Pratt says, "I worked really closely with the directors and trying out a few things and landed on something that I'm really proud of and can't wait for people to see and hear."
This movie is still a huge question mark for me. I need to see it to believe it.
Yeah, yeah. You know what? It would be not a big question mark if it was like just a normal animated Mario movie. But the fact that they've gone and like, not got Charles Martinet as Mario, it just makes no fucking sense to me.
It makes no sense. It makes me think of, is this going to be kind of like the Sonic movie where Sonic is just a fully voiced normal person living in this world? Like, I don't know, is Mario just going to be that with an Italian accent or not?
Oh, good Lord. Yeah, I don't know. Listen, those Sonic movies are good, but they somehow found a way to be like goofy in a real world setting. This is all animated, so it could still go like crazy, but yeah, I don't know.
Guess we'll see.
Guess we'll see.
That is all of the news for this week.